What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys the new Apple MacBook Pro 15 inches 2017. I've just received this from the supplier, and as we can see it is still in its protective film all around the box itself. So what we're going to do first of all is I'm going to show you guys the content on the box itself. What to expect on a box such as this, and then we're going to run over the contents within the box itself, and then I'm going to show you guys lastly the MacBook itself, how it looks design wise, the number of ports, and most importantly, as this being the 2017 model, it comes with a touch bar, which you can see from the image right here, and a Touch ID just somewhere there on the other side. So before all that, we're just going to run over the box to see what it says on the box itself. So we got the MacBook Pro right here. On this side of the box there is the Apple logo, and the top side of the box it still reads as MacBook Pro, and on the other side of it there is another Apple symbol, and then at the back right here, as we can see, is the spec sheet. So I mean we got a sticker right here that runs over the specs of the MacBook itself. So as we can see, it's 15 inches MacBook Pro with a Retina LED backlit display with IPS technology. The resolution is displayed there as well. 2.8 gigahertz quad core Intel Core i7. So this is the 7th generation Intel Core i7 with 6 MB level 3 cache and a turbo boost up to 3.8 gigahertz. Now the RAM itself is 16 GB, but the problem here with Apple is, they're still running the low profile DDR3 SD RAM, and I'm not sure why that is, as DDR4 has come out for some time now, but it seems they're still running with DDR3 SD RAM in 2017. And what else we have is 256 GB PCI Express based SSD. And we got the Radeon Pro 555 with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory. We also have Intel HD Graphics 630 on board and 4 Thunderbolt USB-C ports, support for the high-speed connection and video out. So we got the headphone jack, stereo speakers, the touch bar, and Touch ID, which is something new that's been added to the since 2016, but it's also on the 2017 models. We got a backlit keyboard with ambient light sensor and 802.11 AC, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.2. FaceTime HD camera, so that is at around 720 pixels, I think 720p, that is, yeah. Pre-installed Mac OS. I'm not exactly sure which Mac OS this has, but I'm pretty sure it must be one of the recent ones. And the size and weight is listed right there as well. So that's about it for the box itself as we speak right now. Next step, I'm going to go ahead and remove the plastic film, and we're going to open up and check the contents inside the box itself. Alright, so we now have the plastic film removed from the outer packaging, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look inside of the box, the contents that come with this MacBook first, before we take a closer look onto the MacBook itself. So the first thing that you are going to find here is the MacBook on the very top, which is the packaging style is quite similar to an iPhone, whereas you normally find the iPhone on the very top, followed by the accessories on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and lift this MacBook off the top so we can take a deeper look into the accessories underneath. You might have noticed that this is also protected by a plastic film all around it as well. Pretty similar to the one on iPhone, as you would find. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down over here on the side, and we're going to look at the cables, the accessories which are provided with it. First things first, we have this little booklet right here, and I think this must be related to the warranty of the device. Now this device comes with an international warranty of 1 year, which is pretty standard with most Apple devices, and I think it just runs over some of the other features of this new MacBook here. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and set that aside, and what else we're going to find is a 3-pin plug. That would be normally used for within the UK, so the UK mains, you would need to use the 3-pin plug right here for charging the MacBook, and here is the actual charger for it. So this is a 87 watt USB-C power adapter, which obviously plugs into the Thunderbolt USB Type-C connector right here. And A cable is also provided for that too, so it's not something that you would need to buy additionally. You could benefit from other devices that actually support USB Type-C by using this cable here. So this is the USB Type-C cable, which would be used in this instance to charge the MacBook's battery. So I'm just going to go ahead and put everything back into its box. And we're going to go ahead and now take a deeper, closer look onto the MacBook itself. Now remove the plastic film from the MacBook itself, and we're just going to take a closer look at the MacBook itself. I'm going to run over the design feature of this MacBook and some of the ports configuration on either side, and also the keyboard and the trackpad and the touch bar with Touch ID, and also the screen and the screen's resolution. So first up, what we have is from the very top, you've got the Apple logo right here. Very sturdy design. I mean, it feels it's a little bit heavy than a usual laptop, you would say. I'm not sure of the exact weight, but it's somewhere at the back of the box itself. But it does feel quite premium. It's a sturdy feel to it as well. You've got the nice glossy Apple logo on the very top. It may look like it's upside down, but I mean, I don't know why they've done that, but I suppose once you lift the lid up, then it's not actually going to be upside down if you look at it from the back. So that might be the reason why when you're looking at it from the very top when it's shut, the Apple might seem as if it's upside down. Moving on anyways from that. The color here, it's a gray, it's a silver. Looks a bit gray in the video, I don't know why, but it's a silver MacBook, and the material that this is made from, I think it's sort of like the feel of the material itself. It's quite close to aluminum, steel, glass, sort of mixture of all three components, I would say. The device itself is pretty slim from what you can see here, so I mean it is very, very slim compared to any other laptop on the market in the same sort of size and configuration, I would say. On this side, we only have two USB Type-C ports. At the back, there is nothing. And on the other side, also, there is further two USB Type-C ports, along with the 3.5mm jack for your earphones. And from the bottom, let me just see where the bottom is, right there. Okay, so you've got the 4 rubber paddings to keep the laptop, off the touching the table or wherever you might place it. Got a number of screws all around it, and that would be obviously to open up the casing. Now, whereas these areas, the exposed areas here, might look like it's it's a DVD drive, a Blu-ray drive input. It's not. It's actually the ventilation for the fan itself. So there is another one right here, and that would be used to keep the MacBook itself pretty cool. And I think there is another one somewhere here at the back. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but there are a few more vents which run from this side to this side for this side of the MacBook, and the other side it's also identical to that side. So I'm assuming that is further ventilation that the MacBook actually benefits from, keeping the MacBook itself pretty cool. And it is very quiet once it's powered on. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up the lid and take a look. Alright, so the first thing you notice by lifting up the lid of the MacBook is that it actually powers on. Now, I haven't actually seen any sort of button, a physical button or a touch button anywhere on the MacBook where you would use it to power it on. I think some of the older generation MacBooks actually had a button somewhere up here on this side, whereas for this, unfortunately, I'm not able to see that. So I think they've implemented that within the lid here. So upon lifting the lid, from close, the MacBook will power on. It will switch over to a power on state. One other thing I've noticed again is also the plastic film. So there's another plastic film now on the inner side protecting the keyboard, the trackpad, and the screen itself from any sort of pressure on the MacBook. So that's another good thing to keep it in nice and pristine, to give you that brand new feel to the MacBook itself. What else you notice immediately is the huge trackpad here. So the trackpad, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest trackpads I've ever seen on a netbook laptop. It's probably one of the biggest and the coolest features on this MacBook, I would say, because I mean you can never miss out when you're using the trackpad. You've got enough space to even use two hands on it. Let's just examine that. So you got enough space for two hands on the trackpad here. The only criticism that I have maybe with this MacBook here is the keyboard itself. Now the keyboard, it looks pretty nice. It feels pretty nice whenever you tap on any of the buttons here. The only problem though with this is it doesn't actually have an additional numpad. For this being 15.4 inches, I would have expected it to have a numpad on the sides for easier dials off, the numbers on the very top. But nevertheless, you're always able to use that on the very top, or you can buy an additional USB keyboard for it, suppose, which you can then connect to the MacBook and use it externally if you're at home, etc., whatever. It does have really nice speakers on each side. So you've got a stereo speaker set up right here. I'm not sure about the wattage of these speakers, but there is no such. I haven't actually noticed a subwoofer, so I'm assuming that might be underneath these speakers, underneath them. So they're not actually on the back side. You're not actually physically able to see them, but it might be underneath the speakers set up here. And they sound pretty cool. They are very loud if you have them turned up to max, for instance. Now the other feature with this particular MacBook, the newest feature, which has started back in 2016, is the touch bar up here. So you can see the touch bar right here. It's telling me to unlock with Touch ID. I don't actually have it set up, but if I did, you would simply touch here and it would work, whereas now it's telling me to try again. And then you got some of the other common buttons that you would use. So you've got, escape to go back, brightness settings for the keyboard here, the volume settings, and the music play and pause. Now they actually change. Now these settings are dependent on the touch bar on a particular application. I'm not going to go ahead and demonstrate any applications, but this is dependent entirely on the type of application you might be using on the MacBook at a time. And then it changes, it actually adapts itself to that particular type of software or application that you might be using. Now lastly is the screen itself. Now this is Retina HD Plus, which I think is equivalent to a 2K display, I would say. It's very crisp, it's very bright. By default, I think the brightness is 50%, and I think that's what I will be using, as it's a very, very bright screen. Now this is backlit by LED as well, so it is, and it's another cool feature is that it's actually frameless. So there are very rare Windows laptops that you might get these days which actually are frameless all around, the bezel and actually the screen itself. So I think this is probably one of the common features that MacBooks are actually famous for. So thumbs up for Apple to keeping the design very minimal. It has the relevant ports that you need. Another criticism might be that it only has USB Type-C ports on either side, as we checked earlier. So in order to connect this to a HDMI port on your TV, you would need to buy an additional port. So it kind of sucks when it comes to all these additional peripherals that you might want to connect the MacBook to. For instance, I would like to hook it up to my TV just there, but it's not possible unless I actually buy an adapter, HDMI to USB Type-C. So there are downsides to it, but they're not a lot, and there's actually work around them. So it's just Apple kind of thing where they're trying to engage the customer in buying maybe additional items just to support the basic setup on a MacBook or any sort of laptop that you would expect. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Give it a massive thumbs up. If you want to see anything else, just let me know in the comment section. I'll try to do another video to cover that. But make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment if you want to. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. And until next time, peace out, guys.